few, apparently. So before we start, I'm just going to give you a run through of what we're going to do today. I'm just going to introduce you to the EGTA manual, which is basically everything you need to know to be a TA, which is good. I'll show you the website about how you actually report your hours and everything. And we're going to take you for a little tour amongst all the rooms that we have. And yeah, we'll show you all the door codes. But to start, we're just going to introduce ourselves, even though Haley and I met pretty much all of you. You don't know each other probably that well. So let's do a little introduction. So just say your name, first name, last name, your major, and then something interesting about yourself. So, hi, I'm Robert Casey. I'm a Mechie major with a minor in aerospace. And interesting fact about me is I play chess at least for an hour a day.
Okay. My name is Haley. I am a civil engineering major. I'm going to be a junior, and I'm on the women's ultimate frisbee team at NYU. Yeah. Oh, anyone can start.
You're Sam.
Yeah.
My name is Kevin Mulcahy. I'm a rising junior, mechanical engineering. And interesting fact about me is
Great.
wow. Thank you.
Great.
Alright. I'm Lene. I am an integrated digital media major with a cross-school minor at SITS for film production. And the interesting fact about me is I was a TV pilot. And I'm currently pitching it to a bunch of producers and directors at the moment. So wish me luck.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Wishing you luck. Nice. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Next.
So, I'm Christopher Sally, sophomore, mechanical engineering major as well. And I guess I play the guitar, violin, drums. Very good.
Nice.
I'm Diana, a rising sophomore at Mechie, and interesting fact about me, I still
Man, I really
I'm Cipra, and I'm a rising sophomore. I'm majoring in computer science, and I watch a lot of Netflix.
My name is Kashish. I'm a rising junior, Becky. And interesting about me is I moved around a lot of times.
nice. Peter?
My name is Peter Lee at GGG. I was a computer science major here at Baldwin years ago. I love sci-fi. Oh, actually, I loved grass. Grass? Yeah.
Not sci-fi.
Jeez. Dina? Introduce yourself.
My name is Dina. I work for one of the departments I'm doing for assisting with EG, which is my favorite. And I work with your time sheets and any HR functions and any issues that you have with payroll or HR. I am located on the third floor, just below this building, 317.
And I'm Dr. Georgie. I never had a chance to become a TA. I have degrees in mechanical engineering, but that doesn't mean anything because over the many years that I've been around, I've dealt with many different disciplines. So whatever your major is, that's good today, but it will change with time. One of my hobbies is skiing.
Nice. Right. So before we start taking through all the web stuff that we have, first, does anyone else have any of these? The on-campus student employee applications. Did everyone put in their Form A's or B's? Yeah. Does everyone have access to the work tab on NYU Home? Yeah.
You all log into your UG account.
Okay. That's good.
Email it. Great.
All right, great. Well, then, a little bit after this, you will be given access to that's the EGTA manual, and it's just a few things that you need to know about being a TA. So we're just going to bring you through a couple of these important documents. So as you can see, you have course background, TA role, procedures, contact information, rubrics, outside events, guides, job-specific documents, and a logo. So when you get access to this later today and tomorrow, please just read through it. That way, if you're working over the summer or even if you're not, just so you know what it means to be a TA. Like obviously you have an idea of what you saw in class with your TAs and also through the interview process. But it'll be very good to know a little more, and this is everything you need to know about being a TA. So we're just going to bring you through a few of these things. So I just want to welcome you. Background of the course, this document is a lot about just an introduction to what a TA is, just the basics, you know, what you're going to do here, different jobs, everything like that. Easy. But now for the not so fun stuff that we have to go through. First up is FERPA. So you need to give this a very thorough read before you actually start teaching any of these classes, especially if you are a recitation or a grader, because then you're going to actually handle students' grades. And that means with FERPA that you cannot share this with anyone except the professor that you work with and the higher-ups of the grading committee. A lot of the times, TAs are going to hang out in the office. Just please do not share anyone's grades with any other TAs or any students that you're friends with or anything. Can't make any comments, right? Very important. This is something that you can get in a lot of trouble for. You don't even share anyone's grades with other professors unless you have your professor's consent. Unless it's Professor Georgie, obviously, because this is his course, basically. So, just to be clear, if you handle students' grades, no one except the student, the professor, and the higher-ups of the grading committee should know about the grades. Even if the parents of a student somehow call you up at midnight, you cannot give them their grades, right? Or anything that has to do with the grade, like attendance, anything like that, right? Very important. Any questions? Right. Great. Please, again, just give this a thorough reading. Once you actually get access to it, we're going to send out an email later today, tomorrow, just with all the information we go over today, as well as access to this. That being said, also, if you're grading quizzes or anything that has to do with a graded paper, when you throw it out, don't put it in the garbage can. We have a very specific box for shredding paper. You can just throw it in there and it'll be shredded later. Mostly because, I've never seen it happen, but I'm sure a student can go through the garbage and find old quizzes, find out people's grades, find out the answers to quizzes, and that would be bad. So make sure they're shredded. Very important. Sensitive information. All right, any questions on grades and how to handle them? Good? Good. Next up is sexual harassment, which is obviously a big topic. Basically, our policy is for TAs with students, you cannot do basically anything. No romantic ideas at all. So even if a student comes up to you and asks to go out on a date with you, obviously decline. Please just use common sense. You can't make any advances on a student. If a student makes any advances on you, obviously decline them. If it's going to be a problem, make sure you somehow inform one of us or try to change your assignment, because we can't have that happening. It can lead to a lot of trouble. I'm sure you can use your imagination or watch TV where that can go. So please have common sense about this, all right? And when it comes to TAs with TAs, be smart. Obviously, you're going to be working with these people for 3 years. Don't have any bad relationships. I don't know. Just don't look at me.
Yeah.
But please just use common sense, obviously. Be smart about it, be professional, right? And a good way to cover this is to read this last paragraph. In the event that you do find a particular student attractive, remember that both of you will be at NYU Engineering for a long time to come. And it's likely that you'll both end up in situations, for example, sporting events, comedy nights, or etc., where you can interact with them there. Wait for the right time when the object of your attention can make a decision without any perceived pressure. Basically just
After the class is over.
after they get
The semester, not the class.
not during, like, after they get their final grade.
Yes.
It's fine, as long as you obviously keep in mind NYU rules, obviously. But as long as they're a student here, don't interact with them that way, please. Just use your head. It's fine. All right. Any questions on sexual harassment? I really hope not. Come on, please. You're all like 19 or 20. All right. And next up is professionalism. So obviously, as TAs, you're going to be the heads of the classrooms in almost every situation that you work for us. Even when you are a recitation TA where you have a professor in the room, a lot of times the professor is very hands-off, and you're, for the most part, running the class. So please make sure you stay professional. You can obviously crack jokes, have a nice, relaxed atmosphere. You have to know where to draw the line. I don't expect to hear any trouble. I've never really heard trouble of people being professional before. Just make sure that you realize that you are basically the professor in the room. Even in open labs where it's kind of hectic, you have to realize that you're there, you're the role model in the room, and you have to remain professional at all times. All right? That means if you see any behavior among students that throws red flags, such as fights happening, people raising their voices, you should inform either their professor, the head TAs, or someone. Obviously, we don't try to micromanage teams all the time. As you probably saw, I mean, the TAs are very hands-off, but obviously, if you see any big issues that are like impeding the team, you have to step in. Right? Same goes if you see TAs mistreating students. See TAs actively making fun of students, you should not stand for that behavior. You should stop them. All right? That goes for in here with students and also in the office. All right? Got it? Any questions? Being professional? That's good. Great. Going with that, if there's any broken equipment that you stumble across, which is very likely, please just let R&D know or leave it in their little dungeon right there. The door with danger on it. Just leave it in there and it should get fixed in a timely manner. Right? Not a big deal. Just make sure it's not too dangerous. So basically, if there's one of these metal spikes on the courses that are stabbing students in the face, you should probably let someone know right away. But I trust all of you. Going back to the EGTA manual, you'll see other things such as procedures. This is mainly for certain things that you'll see during the semester. We're not going to go too much in depth with this right now. This is just introduction to get you kind of started. A lot of stuff will go into a lot more at the training in August. So go ahead and worry about the procedures. Contact information is a little more important. This is something that we're going to send out later in the week probably. And it's something that's going to end up looking like this after we ask for a bunch of information. So this way you can contact other TAs and we can contact you no matter what. So if you're not responding to emails, have your phone number. So we just need first name, last name, phone number, email address, major, and the year that you're in. This is also a great tool for you that if you need like help in a class, you see like, oh man, John Doe's in the same class as me, and he's the same major and the same year. You can probably help. Shoot him a text. It's not that creepy. It'll be fun. Right? So it's just a great tool for us and for you. Just because sometimes TAs aren't very responsive, and we need to get in touch with them right away. So keep that in mind. Next, the most important thing probably that you'll be using the most as a TA is this, which is job-specific documents. So here you can see each of basically the sections of being a TA you'll actually work as. So you have graders, lab TAs, lecture TAs, open lab TAs, presentation TAs, and enrollment TAs, or maybe you want to worry about right now. But this is where you're going to go for whatever things you need for actually running a class. So graders will have all the rubrics for the different labs that they have to grade. Obviously, don't share those with anyone, please. Lab TAs will have basically just BIs they need for different labs, scoring sheets, and also the lab training cheat sheet. So you can do the labs in probably 25 minutes, which would have been really nice for you to have. But you're taking class. Local lab TAs will have some tips and tricks about the courses, frequently asked questions. That way, hopefully, we won't have TAs giving out different information, which you probably experienced. So it'll just be extra stuff that we haven't put in the manual yet, but they're answers to just normal questions that we get. Lecture TAs and recitation TAs, again, they're more the same, just documents that you need. Again, this would be gone over a lot more in August, right before the semester starts, unless you're working in the summer. Then we'll have a little day set aside to teach you how to be a TA really quickly, a little crash course. Right? That will just pair you with a really experienced TA. But besides that, again, you'll get access to all this, probably later today or tomorrow. Right now, I don't think you have access on your drive. But does anybody have any questions on the EGTA manual at all? Anything at all? Don't be afraid. We don't bite. Not really. Look at me. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, then Haley is going to give you a little walkthrough of the website. It's very important. So she's going to sign in. If she knows her password. Ooh, she doesn't.
I don't. They make you change it sometimes. Okay.
All right, there you go.
Okay. So as a TA, when the first thing you do when you're logging people in, for the start of Open Lab or the start of your lab, you go to attendance, and you'll pick what it is. If it's Open Lab, model shop session, or lab or lecture, and the date, and then you just start scanning people in. You'll see that every time you do the lab. It's pretty normal. At announcements, it just says the important things that EG is trying to tell everybody, like changes to the schedule or things like that. This is just the different lectures.
You just have to show them the reports.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Let's go over reports.
So, yeah. So the main thing that you use this website for is after you have finished working, the very end of your shift, you'll go to report, which is under work, and you'll make sure you're in the right pay period. So right now it's 5:30 to 30. I think we said it prematurely. And you will make a PIN as a new TA, and it's a 4-digit PIN. You'll put in, your numbers, and here you'll put how many TAs were working that shift. So if it was a model shop session, it's usually 6 TAs, so you'll do 6 because you also include yourself, and you'll put submit. And then you'll select the work type. So if you were doing a lab, it's lab, lecture, lecture, open lab, pretty straightforward. And you'll sign in the date, and you'll put you and all the other TAs working and how many hours they were working corresponding next to it. And then you will write a little blurb about what you did, and it has to be 200 characters?
150.
150, and just you need to say what you did, if any problems were encountered, if any big things happened, like if it was a open lab session, you would say if any teams benchmarked, commissioned, or submitted. And then if a big problem did occur, and this is only for really big problems, because if you fill out this bottom right here, it will send out an email to everyone, and we don't really want, a stool fell over, and you tell us that. So it doesn't matter. So, but if something really major happens, like the Mars rover, course split in half, obviously tell us that. So you can mention it in both places, but if it's a huge problem, mention it here, and if it's not that big, just write it in the normal blurb, and we read them, so we'll just jot them down and make sure it gets taken care of. And make sure you get to the 200 character limit. Like if you don't, just press space bar, but hopefully you will. And then submit the report.
I just realized that these reports get sent to all the head TAs as well as Professor Georgie. So just be professional about it, like I said.
Yeah.
You can make like a small joke maybe, as long as it's funny. But don't like start using slang throughout all your reports. Make sure it's like short and concise, and that we know exactly what happened in whatever job you're doing. Like if you're cleaning a lab room, you can say, I cleaned lab 1, space bar times 200.
Yeah.
But for most jobs, you can't.
The most important thing is if you notice a problem or some difficulty or something that's creating a negative environment, please mention that, because if you don't write it under it, we will never know. So it's really important for you to point out, it's not something bad if you point out something bad. You're doing a good job because the tone is looking after you watch out for.
Also, it's really, really important to do this as soon as you finish your shift, because we are just implementing this new timesheet thing where you, I don't know what to call it, where you have to do it at the end of your shift, and as soon as you submit the report, you have to go to My Time and say that you worked those hours, just to make everything more organized and clear and concise. So the other thing, obviously, life happens, and sometimes you miss a shift. But we try to be prepared about it, and please give us like a week or a few days notice, and you can do this by filling out a need replacement, which is also in the same work tab, so it's need replacement. So you'll go here and you'll say what the work type is, the date that you're going to miss, the hours, and why, and you'll submit the form, and it will show up as request, and if it is open or closed, depending on if someone has chosen to replace you or not. And on this page, you can also pick other people's requests to replace, so you can get more work by doing this, and also just help us out. We'll also send out emails sometimes just asking for replacements. If you really need a replacement within like 24 hours, you can fill this out, but the best way to get it replaced is to email us, one of the heads or general engineering, and just say that you won't be there. With your reason, and we'll try and find a replacement for you as soon as possible, especially if it's a lab or a lecture or a station. If it's open lab, usually we can find someone, but we really need someone really quickly for those jobs.
And just so you know, saying, certain excuses obviously make sense, like, oh, I have a doctor's appointment this day that I can't get out of, but certain excuses don't really make sense. Like, we had some problems before, like, I have to study for a test today. Well, I mean, everyone has to study and do homework, so I'm sorry, but you should probably plan your studying around times that you work.
Yeah.
So obviously, just be prepared that if your need replacement gets denied, that you still have to work that shift. And if you don't show up, I mean, we're just going to have to start to think about taking your assignment away.
Also, you shouldn't be filling out more than 2 or 3 need replacements for the same job. So if you're working a lab section and you fill out 3 need replacements, we're going to take that into consideration for the next semester when you are applying for jobs again. If you miss shifts, we're going to take it into consideration. So just remember that. Just please, be professional. Tell us when you're going to miss. Please try not to miss your job. Is that all?
You should show them My Time.
Oh, yes. Okay. So My Time, you'll go to your
There you go.
So you'll go to home.nyu.edu, mine yours.
Yeah, you can show them.
So you'll go to the Work tab, and you'll go to NYU My Time Login, and you have to be connected to NYU Wi-Fi or an NYU VPN, and there's a link on, I think, under the Work tab where you can download the VPN, so you can do it from your own computer at home to fill out your My Time, not while you're connected to NYU Wi-Fi. So we're new to this page, and you're going to go to My Time. And it will show you, oh, this does not look like mine. So it will show you a weekly calendar, and you're going to be filling out just like if I worked lab from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's just how you do it. Make sure that you write a.m. or p.m. because if you accidentally put like 12, it might say 12 a.m. and you will be working for like 14 hours and you'll have to go back in and change it. So really be careful and make sure that you're listing all the right hours. Also, don't charge after 9 p.m. or
School building hours.
right, okay. And also don't charge on the weekends or on holidays.
Yep.
So don't charge on 4th of July, Sundays, stuff like that. And also don't charge when you have class time because it won't register. It will say something's wrong. So the best way to do this, obviously, is just to put your my time in right after you submit your report and right in the spots where you actually worked. Just very simple, straightforward. As soon as you fill out the report, remind everyone, remind yourself to go to your my time and put in like that you worked at a lab or open lab, whatever it is. And then you will say submit. I don't want to put, I guess it will. And it will pull up this screen. You'll just check that box and then say submit timesheet.
And talk a little bit more about the pay procedure. Please, Tina, help us out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In order for you to get paid, of course, you have to submit your documentation. First, let me ask you, is there anybody here working for the first time? Okay. Have you seen the Wasserman Center yet? Yes? No? Okay. For initial job, like for you will need to appear personally with the Wasserman Center. You have to apply, of course, online, Wasserman by Albert, and submit Form B. That's the initial employment. And you have to present your documentation. Some of you may need to apply for Social Security card or number. If, in case, you're going to need the Social Security number, there's a letter from OGS. And it may take time for you to get the Social Security number, but the office will give you a receipt, and that will be good enough for us to process your application for employment. If you're renewing, you don't have to go personally to Wasserman anymore. This is just one time. You can apply for renewal on the Albert Wasserman. Now, in order for you to get paid, I need to get the Form A or B from you guys. After you finish the application, it will send back to you with the Wasserman signature. For Form A, it's the renewal, it's just one signature. Form B, you need 2 signatures from Wasserman. That means your application is still approved. If I don't have your Form A or Form B, that's the employment student on-campus employment form, I cannot submit your information to PeopleSync, which will process your employment, and therefore payroll will not have your information. You will not get access to my time. You cannot enter your hours. It's a document. So first and foremost, you need to clarify with your PAs, PAs, if all requirements have been fulfilled, and then submit your Form A or Form B or whatever forms you need. Then as soon as I get that, I will send the information, your transaction to PeopleSync right away. Now, if there is any reason for you having trouble with accessing my time after all this has been done, we have submitted your transaction to PeopleSync, the HR approved your application, and payroll has received the information, and you still cannot get access to my time, there must be something wrong along the way. So let me know, inform them, or you can go directly to my office, and we'll find out what's going on and try to figure out how to resolve the issue. If you've been getting paid, and then suddenly there was a problem, you cannot access my time, or you miss payment, same thing, come to my office and we'll try to resolve the issue. If there's anything that HR has something to do with, like you are missing documentation, submit I-9 completed, and then you got another email notification from Wasserman, because that happens, that you need to submit your I-9 again. Sometimes there are glitches in the system, so we'll figure it out. We'll just resolve the issue. And it's important that you need to input your hours, as they said. as soon as possible after you finish your work. Because if you will just hold on to it and then accrue hours, it will pile up and it will reach to a certain point, like it might raise red flag with the payroll. Because some TAs in the past wait on to charge all their hours, and it came up to about 80, 102 hours, and that is for the whole semester. And of course, we don't want that to happen again. So your hours must be entered to your MyTime right away. If there's any problem, let your TAs know. If there is anything that you have that doesn't clear with you, HR, payroll, or anything at all that you think I can help, don't hesitate. Just come to my office. They know my office location. I cannot hide. It's JV373, the tutoring center. We also provide tutoring for CS, Physics, Biochem. If you know anybody, if you need help, you're welcome to use the center. I think that's all.
We're also implementing a new rule. If you miss 2 pay periods, we're going to take your assignment away. So please put your reports in and your MyTime in on time. We're doing it every Sunday night at midnight, so submit it by then, you're good to go.
Yeah. Payroll's going to send you an email that literally just says submit.
Yeah.
That's
Read if you want money. Read it.
And maybe some of you doesn't care about getting paid because you get, for you, working is enough. Gaining experience is enough, but this is also part of your responsibility. So this will be your training ground. Once you are able to take responsibilities, once you get out of hands-on university, NYU, you'll be fine. But if in this stage, you're just trying to be complacent and relax, oh, they will take care of my problem, or they will be resolved later on, procrastination is not an option. So it's all for your. Basically,
if you cause us problems with getting paid, which doesn't really make much sense, so I would think you want your money, we just will go to the point where we don't really have to pay you, we don't have to give you a job. So, I mean, that makes it easy on us, we don't have to deal with the problem, and it just means that you won't have it. Okay. She's just again, if you have any questions, like if something comes up, let us know. But just let us know if there's any issues happening, all right? We're very understanding as head TAs. We're just going to be the best bosses you'll ever have in your lifetime. So just let us know. Not like every day. Just only if you have a problem. I don't need to know if you will. Right? Does anybody have any other questions on how MyTime works, on any parts of being a TA, basically the website, the TA manual, anything like that?
So for the EG website, like the payment thing, where you do your hours, you put every single other person's hours for you.
So it depends on who's submitting the report. And if it's like a 6-person open lab shift, then yeah, you put in, like, when you're submitting the report only, not on MyTime, just on the EG website. You submit the report, you put you and the 5 other people you're working with, and then the time, just say set same for all, and it will just fill itself out. And then you just say what all of you did, and not like super, exact. You just say how many people came in, any problems were occurred, if anyone benchmarked or commissioned or submitted, things like that, and any problems that you encountered.
Yeah. So like usually the only time you have to put in like lots of hours with different people is like, hey, let's say open lab. So say I work like 2:30 to 3. I can just hit set same for all.
Yeah.
As long as I have like a website, it's gonna yell at me.
For a lab job, like teaching lab, your roaming TA will submit the report, so you don't have to worry about that. But for open lab, it's very important.
So for open lab, if 6 people are working, only one of them has to do something like that?
Yes.
Please. Like I said before, the head TAs have to go through and approve every single one of these reports. So it's very nice when people like consolidate their reports. So like if there's 6 open lab TAs working, there's 6 reports that I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
As it is, we approve like 200 reports per pay period usually, so just be nice to us.
I mean, just like coordinate between the 6 of you, at the end, just be like, oh, I'm gonna write the report, and just make sure no one else does. And also, if the page freezes and you've clicked submit and it hasn't refreshed yet, just give it some time. Don't keep clicking submit, because then we'll get like 8 duplicate reports.
Yeah.
And we'll have to go in and delete them and stuff like that. So just give the website some time.
Definitely don't match that submit button.
I've done it before. Rob was very mad.
I was very upset. I just like in our list, just saw like 8 Haley hens. I'm just like, why? And now she's the head state, so who knows what's happening here. Does anybody else have any questions about being a TA? Be anything. Doesn't have to be EG manual related. Just be anything you're curious about. No, I'm so well informed. I'm so proud of all of you. All right. Well, if that is the case, we're just going to show you around EG a little bit, and we're going to show you all the door.
Another reminder, does anybody here works with more than one department? Does anybody here works with more than one department? Okay. Make sure that your hours for both combined departments will not go beyond 20 hours a week. Okay, I think you've already known that. But just a reminder, if you work with 1 or 3 or 5 departments, that's fine, as long as you have all of them combined into 20 or less hours. Don't go beyond 20. And each department will have their Form A, so you need to apply for all those work. That's all.
Are you going to keep working?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be here until that.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, that's
I'm rising the corporate ladder.
Okay.
all right. So we're just gonna bring you through, show you like the door code, so you actually can access EG. That'd be nice, right? So you can actually go to your job if you're actually. All right. So